So as I've moseyed through life as a priest, I found out that the Trinity is one of those things that's very complicated and hard for people to grasp. Go figure. This tri-unity, three in one in three thing. I've had the experience of several different people, unrelated circumstances, and we're talking about the person of who Jesus Christ is, and there's just confusion about who he is. There's this kind of prevalent idea that I'm seeing anyway lately, that Jesus is this really great, superhuman almost kind of guy, but there's not the intellectual leap to make that says he's God. But everything we hear about in the Creed that we'll proclaim here together in a few moments says he is God. God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, consubstantial, we used to say one in being with the Father. I've been kind of pondering, why is this so hard to grasp, other than the fact that it's an infinite mystery and this is kind of crazy stuff to think about? In the letter to the Hebrews, that second reading, we hear that we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has similarly been tested in every way, yet without sin. I think what happens is we're so easily influenced by the world that we can't fathom Jesus actually being God because he's not acting like the God we have in our minds should act. He is our high priest, but he's acting like us. He's walking this life, and he's constantly submitting himself and his will to the will of his Father, who is also God. And again, confusing, right? I get it, but I think it's really hard for us to grasp that the infinite God would make himself like us. I think it's hard to grasp that when Jesus says here in the gospel, whoever wishes to be first among you will be the slave of all, that he said those words and takes them so seriously that he is the first to live them out for us. If you want to be the first, if you want to be the God of the universe, even you submit yourself to service. That doesn't make sense. Because everything in the world says you want to get power so that you can then get all the other stuff you want. Prestige or pleasure or wealth. That's why you get power. That's why James and John want power. But Christ is showing us something totally and completely different. Jesus Christ himself, God made man, wants you to know that if you want to find happiness, you have to be a servant. And he takes it so seriously, he shows us how to do it himself by becoming obedient, by becoming like a slave. It doesn't make sense. It only makes sense if the God of the universe were teaching us these things. So if you feel tempted to grasp onto things, to make things happen yourself, remember that we're supposed to be servants first. Another great mystery, all of these great mysteries that we can't just figure out, but I hope you have experiences of as you go through life that really continue to teach you, you know what? Whenever I've been fulfilling my own self-desires, I found myself unhappy. And yet whenever I found myself serving my brothers and sisters, then there's peace and joy.